Hello, year three. Hope you're all doing well. We're just going to get straight into it today. We're going to finish off a chapter of The Iron Man. I'm very excited. And I really hope you're enjoying this story. This is one of my favourites. So I really hope you're enjoying. So today's learning objective is that I'm going to learn to plan and write a descriptive piece of writing. A descriptive piece of writing is something that describes. So we're thinking about describing words today. We're thinking about those adjectives. Super. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to start off by listening to our story. So, just a little bit of a reminder. The Iron Man was walking along and he found himself at the edge of a cliff. He put his foot out into the nothingness and fell off the cliff. All of his pieces of his body were scattered around the place. So, then yesterday we found out that the seagulls were hunting for their shiny things. So they managed to find parts of the Iron Man. They found a funny-looking crab-like thing, which was his hand, and a funny-looking clam, which was his eye. They thought there were they were very different things. But the Iron Man was a little bit cheeky and knew that he was going to put himself back together. So poked the seagulls to get them to leave him alone. And he picked up his eye and he went searching for his other hand. And he found his other hand. And he found his arm and he started to build himself up again. I would like you now to close your eyes. I want you to use your imagination. I'm not going to show you any pictures today. I just want you to listen to the rest of the chapter. I want you to imagine what it's like to be there. What might you see? What might you hear? What might you smell? I'd like you to imagine everything that the storyteller is saying. Think about the big things, but I also want you to think about the small things. Let's listen.
They went running among the rocks. Soon they found a leg. They jumped on top of the leg, and the leg went hopping over the rocks, with the arm swinging from the hand that clung to the top of the leg. The other hand clung on top of that hand. The two hands, with their eyes, guided the leg, twisting it this way and that, as a rider guides a horse. Soon they found another leg, and the other arm. Now, each hand, with an eye under its palm and an arm dangling from its wrist, rode on a leg separately about the beach. Hop, hop, hop they went, peering among the rocks. One found an ear, and at the same moment the other found the giant torso. Then the busy hands fitted the legs to the torso. Then they fitted the arms, each fitting the other, and the torso stood up with legs and arms, but no head. It walked about the beach, holding its eyes up in its hands, searching for its lost head.
Can you hear some of those describing words that he was using? So he lifted them high above his head. He was really stretching his eyes out to see if he could find his head. I've heard some fantastic adjectives in this. I wonder whether you can think and pick out some more when you listen to the rest of it.
There was the head, earless, eyeless, nestled in a heap of red seaweed.
What lovely descriptions there. His head was nestled in a bunch of red seaweed. Really lovely, nestled adjectives. It was, we could say buried, couldn't we? But he's really thought about using some challenging words here. And he's used, nestled into the red seaweed, something we don't expect. We expect seaweed to be green, don't we? So have a listen, see if you can spot any more.
Now, in no time, the Iron Man had fitted his head back, and his eyes were in place, and everything in place except for one ear. He strode about the beach searching for his lost ear, as the sun rose over the sea and the day came. The two gulls sat on their ledge, high on the cliff. They watched the immense man striding to and fro over the rocks below. Between them, on the nesting ledge, lay a great iron ear. The gulls could not eat it. The baby gulls could not eat it. There it lay, on the high ledge. Far below, the Iron Man searched. At last, he stopped and looked at the sea. Was he thinking the sea had stolen his ear? Perhaps he was thinking the sea had come up while he lay scattered and had gone down again with his ear. He walked towards the sea. He walked into the breakers, and there he stood for a while, the breakers bursting around his knees. Then he walked in, deeper, deeper, deeper. The gulls took off and glided down low over the great iron head that was now moving slowly out through the swell. The eyes blazed red.
Love that adjective. The eyes blazed red. It wasn't just that they were glowing, they were blazing, really, really piercing. Love that.
The wave tops, till a big wave covered them and foam spouted over the top of the head. The head still moved out underwater. The eyes and the top of the head appeared for a moment in a hollow in the swell. And now the eyes were green. The sea covered them and the head. The gulls circled low over the line of bubbles that went on moving slowly out into the deep sea.
What a really interesting part of the story. So, the Iron Man has gone into the sea to look for his missing ear. He gathered up all those pieces of himself, put himself back together, and now he's searching for that one missing thing. We've heard a lot about how the Iron Man was listening to the sea, and now he's in the sea. There's lots of things we can think about describing maybe where he is. Super duper. Okay, so today we're being really imaginative, okay? So I want you to put your imagination hats on. I want you to be super duper at imagining today. That's why I asked you to close your eyes. Maybe you are a very visual person. You might want to draw little pictures to help you with this one. So I want you to really think, what is a descriptive word? What is it? Is it good to just be saying really, really basic things like, the sea was blue, the sky was dark because it was night, or the Iron Man was tall? We are in year 3. I think you can use some super and actually maybe some complicated adjectives in this one today. So I'm really looking out for people who have been challenging themselves and really pushing their abilities. So I want you to think, if you think, oh, the sky is blue. How else could I describe that? Maybe that's a little bit too easy. I might say as blue as, and compare it to something. I might even say that the sky was beaming with bright lights, or the sky was as dark as night, or I could say, there's lots of different ways to say things. I don't want you to just say the sky was blue. But let's have a look at our task for today. So here's what I want from you today. I want you to write a paragraph about the scene that we've just heard in the story. Okay, so what we've heard is the Iron Man has built himself up again, and he thinks the sea has stolen one of his ears, and now He's gone into the sea. So I want you to use as many adjectives as you can in your writing today. Try and be adventurous. Try not to use things like sad, happy, grey. I want you to be adventurous with your vocabulary today. So I've written a small example. You can steal some of my ideas if you like. But I want you to be expanding on these things. I want you to think about your senses, what you can see, or maybe what the Iron Man can see. What can he hear? What can he taste? What can he smell? What can he touch? How does he feel? So have a listen to this paragraph and it might give you some ideas. So listen out. The Iron Man, who was as tall as a skyscraper, began to sink into the deepest depths of the sea. The fish were fascinated by his mile-long legs, 1 foot in front of the other. The thuds on the slimy ocean floor rippled far and wide. As his body sank into the sea, glittering like the clearest diamond, his eyes turned turquoise as the reflection of the sea beamed and glowed within his eyes. Lovely. So, lots of adjectives, lots of things to think about. So, what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to get a piece of paper, your writing pen or pencil, and what I want you to do is see how much descriptive work you can do. I would like you to plan this writing out first. So what I've done is I've given you some prompts. I've given you some sentences to think about. You could think about the Iron Man's body. Maybe have a think about how he's built. Has he got any wires in him? Has he got how are different parts stuck together? Maybe what does he look like? You could describe the creatures in the sea as the Iron Man gets deeper and deeper into the sea. I want you to think maybe about the ocean floor. You know, what's there? Is it just sand? Is it some rocks? What's there? How is the Iron Man moving in water? Is he moving really fast and making lots of splashing sounds? Maybe he's gone right underneath the water and he's swimming around with the fish. Maybe he's moving so slow that nobody can notice that he's there. We need to think about the way he's moving in the water as well. Use your senses. So use your what you can see, what you can smell, what you can hear, how he feels, what he can taste. Maybe if you're going into the sea's a little bit salty, isn't it? So maybe he can taste the salt of the sea. Maybe it reminds you of something else. So there's lots of ideas there for you. I've also given you a little bit of a help sheet, a little bit of a planning sheet. And you can use that and just use that for your notes, okay? So you don't need to write in full sentences on there. You just need to use that for maybe to write down some ideas. Maybe you've got a super duper adjective that you want to use. You can write that on there. And what I've done is I've given you some visual prompts on there as well. So you've got some ideas. So there's lots of stuff there for you to do and lots of stuff for you to engage with. So I want you to be concentrating on those adjectives and I want you to be planning your writing. That's the important thing for today. I want you to plan it first. I don't want you to just dive straight in. Okay? So I'd love to see your planning sheet as well as the work that you produce as well. Okay, so I'm really excited to see these actually. I think this is a really fun task that you can be as imaginative as you like, but I want you to try and think about that scene where the Iron Man is going into the sea and see how much depth and how much description that you can get in that paragraph. I'm really looking forward to seeing your work. Off you go, year 3.